I need you to stop whatever you're doing right now. Close your eyes for just 1 second and ask yourself this question. If I died tomorrow, would I be proud of how I spent today? Most people can't answer that. I couldn't either. Not until one night changed everything. One night that broke me down to nothing, and then rebuilt me into someone I actually wanted to be. This is not a story about quitting a job. This is a story about waking up. My name is Daniel Mercer, and 3 years ago, I was invisible. Not in some poetic way. Truly, genuinely invisible. The kind of person who sits in the same office chair for 5 years and nobody notices when they're gone. The kind of man who eats the same lunch at the same desk, under the same flickering fluorescent light, every single day. I was 34 years old. Stable job. Small apartment with gray walls. I always told myself I'd paint someday. On paper, my life looked fine. But inside? Inside, I was hollowed out. I had been hollowed out for so long, I had forgotten what it felt like to be full. I went to work. I came home. I watched something on my laptop until I fell asleep. Then I woke up and did it again. Every day bled into the next. Nothing sharp, nothing clear, nothing real. I had dreams once. At 22, I wanted to write. I filled notebooks with stories about people braver than me, who lived louder than me. Then life happened. Student loans, bills, practicality. The notebooks went to the back of a drawer, 1 year at a time. By 34, I hadn't opened one in 7 years. And the saddest part? I had stopped missing it. That's the thing nobody warns you about. It's not that your dreams get taken from you. It's that slowly, quietly, you stop noticing they're gone. You get used to the emptiness the way you get used to a bad knee. You just walk differently and pretend it doesn't hurt. That's who I was before that night. It was November 14th, the anniversary of my father's passing. 3 years since he'd been gone. I had spent the whole day pushing spreadsheets around a screen, pretending it was just another Thursday. I got home. The apartment was cold. I made instant noodles. I sat on the couch. I opened my laptop. And for the first time in 3 years, I didn't open Netflix. I just sat there, in the silence, in the cold. And I started thinking about my dad. My father was a mechanic, a quiet man with rough hands and a loud laugh. He worked 6 days a week his entire life, and when he finally had 1 year of retirement to actually live, he got sick. Then he was gone. 12 months. That's all he got. I used to get angry about that. I used to lie awake thinking about how unfair it was. A man who gave everything, who asked for so little, who just wanted to fish on weekends and watch cricket and drink chai on his porch. And life gave him 12 months. 12 months and then nothing. The last real conversation we had, he was in his hospital bed and he grabbed my hand and said, "Danny, don't do what I did. Don't wait." 3 weeks later, he was gone. I sat on that couch and those 4 words hit me like a freight train. Don't wait, don't wait, don't wait. How long had I been waiting? And then something happened I wasn't prepared for. I started crying, not politely, ugly, chest-heaving sobbing. The kind your body does when it's been holding something for so long, it just gives way. I cried for my dad. I cried for myself. I cried for 7 years of blank notebooks and a life that felt like it was happening to someone else. I cried until there was nothing left. Then I got up. My body just moved. I went to my bedroom, opened the drawer I never opened, and pulled out the last notebook. Dusty, worn cover. I opened it to the last page I had ever written. March 9th, 7 years ago. A half-finished sentence at the bottom. He stood at the edge of the cliff and realized that the only thing scarier than jumping was spending his whole life staring down. I stared at that sentence for a long time. Then I picked up a pen. I wrote for 4 hours straight. My hand cramped. I kept going. My eyes burned. I kept going. I wrote about my dad, about the gray walls, about mornings I had woken up already defeated, dreading another day of nothing, about the version of myself I had abandoned at 22. By the time I put the pen down, it was 2:47 in the morning. Something had shifted, not in the room, In me, I felt awake, genuinely, electrically awake, like a door had opened inside my chest that I didn't know was there, and cold air was rushing in, and I was breathing for the first time in years. I made a list, not a motivational poster list, a real, honest list. 1. I have been dying slowly in this job for 5 years. 2. I am not too old to change. 3. My father worked his whole life for a future that never came. I will not do the same. 4. I am terrified. That means this matters. 5. I already know what I need to do. I needed to leave. At 8:03 the next morning, I typed my resignation letter. 3 paragraphs. Simple, clear. Then I hovered over the send button for 4 minutes and 37 seconds. Every fear showed up at once. The bills, the savings, what people would think. What if I failed? What if I was throwing away the only stable thing I had ever built? I thought about what my manager would say. I thought about my mother calling me irresponsible. I thought about all the people who would shake their heads and say he had a good thing and he threw it away. 4 minutes. Then I thought about my dad. Don't wait. I hit send. I exhaled the longest breath of my adult life and said out loud to my empty apartment, "Okay, Dad, I heard you." The next 3 months were not a miracle. They were hard. I burned through savings. I watched old coworkers post promotions while I wrote things nobody had asked for. There were nights the fear wrapped around my chest like a fist. There were mornings I sat at my desk and genuinely wondered if I had lost my mind. If I had made the most selfish, reckless decision of my life. If my father's words were wisdom, or if I had just used them as an excuse to run away. But I had something I never had before. I had my mornings. Before, I woke up already defeated. Now, I woke up and the morning was mine. I made coffee slowly. I sat by the window and watched the street come alive. And I wrote, every single day, without fail. I started a blog, honest essays about walking away from safety, about grief, about being afraid, and doing it anyway. The first post got 11 views. 10 were probably me. I kept writing. 3 months in, one essay found the right people. Emails came, a newsletter feature, a freelance offer, then another. 6 months after quitting, I was earning from writing, from words, from the thing I had locked in a drawer and called just a dream. Today, I earn more than I ever did in that cubicle. But the money is not the point. The point is, I wake up and I want to be awake. The point is, I write things that make strangers feel seen. The point is, I went back to that notebook and I finished the sentence from March 9th that I had left hanging for 7 years. Here is what I wish someone had told me earlier. Safe is not the same as okay. Stable is not the same as alive. There are millions of people with good jobs and clean apartments who are completely hollowed out, who put their real selves in a drawer and called it being realistic, who confused the absence of disaster with the presence of happiness. I was one of them, for over a decade, and nobody forced me. I did it willingly, one small surrender at a time, until the surrenders added up to a life. That is how it happens. Not dramatically, quietly, in the small choices, the notebook you don't open, the morning you don't claim, the risk you keep putting off because next year will be different. Next year is never different unless you make it different. Time does not wait. The years keep going, and one day you look back and realize you spent the best of them preparing to live instead of actually doing it. My father had 12 months. I don't know how many I have. Neither do you. So tell me, what is it that you've been pushing away? What is your notebook? What is the sentence you started and never finished? It doesn't have to be a job. Maybe it's a conversation you've been avoiding for years. Maybe it's a relationship that you know in your gut is over, but you're too scared to face. Maybe it's a version of yourself you buried so deep that you've almost forgotten it exists. Whatever it is, it's still there, waiting. It never left. It just got quiet. And the longer you wait, the quieter it gets, until one day it stops asking altogether. And that silence, that final silence, is the saddest thing in the world. My name is Daniel Mercer. 3 years ago, I was invisible. Today, I am awake. You don't need another sign. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need the fear to go away, because it never goes away. You do it with the fear. You open the notebook with the fear. You hit send with the fear. Your one life is worth the risk. It always was. Don't wait.